And it's impossible to ignore this. Not like anyone was, but the Clayton Kershaw postseason struggles reaching a new level this past weekend where he allows 6 runs in a third of an inning. First pitcher in baseball history to allow 5 runs on 5 hits without recording an out as a starter or a reliever. A 4.5 career postseason ERA, a 2.48 career regular season ERA. It's as simple as this for me. You cannot be the best, whether it's certainly not all the time, but you can't even be the best pitcher of your generation if you have these types of postseason struggles consistently. Like, it's almost laughable at this point how consistently bad Clayton Kershaw has been in the postseason.
It's so funny already seeing the excuses from Dodger fans.
Bye week.
They had too much time off. What the heck?
The rules are stacked against us.
Like, give me a break. And now the Braves are dealing with it right now against the Phillies, who are red hot.
Orioles
are dealing with it. It's funny how the World Series champion last year. Oh yeah, that's right. They had a bye, and they went 7-0 to the way to the postseason, to the way to the World Series, and they won the World Series last year against the Phillies, who didn't have any time off, but the Astros had a bunch of time off. So this notion that this time off is hurting the Dodgers, give me a break. Give me a break.
And how would that impact Clayton Kershaw? Because pitchers have 5 days between starts anyway.
I just think Clayton Kershaw, when the lights are the brightest and when fans are actually at the stadiums, he crumbles. I put out a picture, Clayton Kershaw in the postseason, burnt toast, like cooked. He's not good.
Accurate.
He's not a good pitcher in the postseason. He cannot deal with the pressure and the stress of a postseason game with fans in the stands. He just can't. Now, he was good in 2020, but I mean, give me a break. Like, there was barely any fans in the stands for the World Series. It was like half full of like 10,000 people. And on the way to the World Series, they're playing on a neutral field in Texas. Like, okay. And other than that, Clayton Kershaw has been really bad in postseason play. And I heard this discussion earlier today with like Darren, like, who would you choose? Would you choose Bumgarner or would you choose Kershaw? And that goes to the point of like, would you choose a player who won a World Series MVP and you have a World Series title and you have multiple titles, or would you choose Clayton Kershaw, who has had a Hall of Fame regular season career, but in the postseason, he's very, very mid at best?
I mean, I would take the pitcher that performs under the brightest lights. And here's the thing, like, back to this point that like, you can't be the best if you're not the best in the biggest stages. I think you can be a great player like Shohei Ohtani and not get to a postseason. And I'm not putting that on Shohei Ohtani. And I'm not putting that on Mike Trout.
No.
But once you're in the postseason, you got to perform. Like, everyone knows Shohei Ohtani isn't going to single-handedly take you to the World Series. Same thing with Mike Trout. We get it. It's a team sport. But once you're in the postseason, he's had so many opportunities. And I'm with you on 2020. It's such an outlier. It's so bizarre. The whole year, let's be honest, we all lived through it. The whole thing was bizarre. And of course, the one World Series, the 1 year that the Dodgers have won since 1988 would be in that really odd, bizarre year. And the one time Kershaw would live up to billing would be in that bizarre year. You look at every other year, he's never good.
No.
He hasn't had good World Series. He hasn't had good championship series. He hasn't had good divisional series. Like, this is up and down. It's one thing if he had made 50 appearances in his career and had a bad outing or two. Okay, that's possible. But to make these appearances, how many career appearances has he had? He's had 39 appearances in the postseason. He's got a 4.5 career ERA in the postseason. He's just been mid. So he's been great in the regular season, but for me, he can't be considered the best pitcher of his era with the postseason struggles he's had.
No, I agree with you there. He can't. He's the best regular season pitcher of his era.
Correct.
But he is not considered clutch or come up big in the big moment. He's, to his credit, and I'm not going to just completely bash Kershaw for his 4.5 ERA and because he gave up 6 runs in a third of an inning on Saturday night.
It would be easy to do.
He's had good postseason series. He's had good postseason games. He's had a couple good postseason series. I bet you if you look in there, they're all not horrible.
No, of course not.
Like, he's definitely had some outings where he is dominant, But that's not the point we're trying to make. The point we're trying to make is overall, Clayton Kershaw in the postseason, more often than not, is going to fail you if he's on your team and he's only been on the Dodgers. He is going to go out there and he is not going to give you the Clayton Kershaw of the regular season. He's going to give you probably the Clayton Kershaw of the postseason more often than not. He might throw in a couple outings there where it's like, okay, that's Clayton Kershaw, right? But a majority of the time, let's be real here, you don't want him pitching in big games because it's too risky, because he's going to eventually give up a big hit, give up a big home run, get blown up, like not give you any length. It's just not going to end well when Kershaw is out there majority of the time.
And we'll see what happens. I mean, it's one game. They're down a game to none. So who knows? They could win the World Series or they could be done in like a day.
Dave Roberts said he's going to pitch game 4. Hey,
if
Dave,
there is a game 4.
They have to get to game 4 first. You have to get to game 4 first before you can announce who's your starter is.
But this is all you need to know about the Dodgers pitching issues. Clayton Kershaw is starting game 1 for you off a bye week. That's the best you can do. Late 30s Clayton Kershaw, who's been mid at best in the postseason, is starting game 1 of the postseason for you, and you think you're able to win the World Series, and maybe they do.
Don't you love it, though?
I have no clue what happens.
Don't you love it?
I mean, what's interesting is it's deja vu. I mean, we'll see. Like I said, I mean, will the Diamondbacks win the series? It remains to be seen, but you have a bye last year, you win 100 games, you're out in the first round. You have a bye this year, you win 100 games, you're down a game.
Yeah. I when we made our predictions for who we thought was going to win the World Series this year, or at least get to the World Series, I didn't even factor in the Dodgers. I even said the Dodgers' name because their pitching is so just
their
blah.
Starting pitching is very blah.
That's why when you go to the postseason, you'll hear it time and time and time again from every smart baseball person out there. What is the number one thing and the number one most important thing in the postseason above all else? Pitching. If you don't have the starting pitching depth, if you don't have the bullpen, it's going to be very tough for you to win a World Series. It just is. Name me the last World Series winner that didn't have at least some form of dominant pitching.
I have no idea.
I mean, last year, Houston, okay, they look at their pitching staff, very good. The previous year, what was it? The Braves,
yeah, 2021.
Okay, their bullpen was lights out.
Well, their starting pitching was really good.
And the starting pitching was good as well. You have who else?
Yeah, Nationals built on starting pitching.
Nationals. Before that, then the Dodgers won. They had Buehler healthy. They had May. They had Kershaw. It's a fake season, but they still won. Previously, the
Red Sox, Astros.
Like the point is, all of these teams have really good starting pitching. The Dodgers, who they start in game 2? Lance Lynn.
I don't think it's game 2, to be honest. I think he was supposed to start game 3. Who is pitching tonight for the Dodgers?
Oh, Shelby Miller. Right? Is that his name? Bobby Miller. Sorry. I'm thinking of another Miller.
Lance Lynn had like a 7 ERA when they acquired him.
Yeah. I mean, Bobby Miller, 11-4 with a 3.76 ERA and 124 innings. That doesn't really scream game 2 starter to me.
It doesn't. With the backs against the wall.
like 7-game series. That's your game 4 starter.
I mean, we'll see. To your point, we'll see if Kershaw gets another chance in game 4. And even if he does, you think Dodger fans are looking forward to seeing that heading into the game?
Dude, they were throwing his jersey on the ground and lighting it on fire. Fans were leaving after the first inning of that game on Saturday night.
And what time did they get there? In the second inning?
So usually they're not there till the third.
Right. They got there in the second and they left in the first.
They made a big whip around Yui in the parking lot because they knew Kershaw blew it in the first inning. I mean, that was the most surprising game of the weekend, right? You could see Texas with the Orioles because the Orioles are very young and they got Bruce Bochy on the other side of the field. It's like, okay. You saw with the Phillies, the run that they're on, and they've been there, experience. Twins and Astros, I think Carlos Correa is one of the most clutch players in postseason history. And so you saw that in game 2. But the Diamondbacks just annihilating the Dodgers, I didn't see that coming.